When it comes to the Civilization series, a lot of people seem to forget history, and sometimes you worry that you might be misremembering the past or remembering things differently. But when it comes to criticism of the Civilization series, as a content creator who makes videos and covers and talks about the Civilization series quite extensively, I'm constantly exposed to opinions from varying perspectives and very conflicting opinions, and it does start to feel like the deja vu is getting too strong. And I do know that with Civilization 7 releasing, there are people who are saying that the reviews this time are worse than ever, which is 100% true. There are people saying that it's going to finally be the death of Civilization, which I don't think it's going to be true. So what I'm going to do today is just read some comments about Civilization games releasing from the last 20 plus years. Now, most of these are going to be from the Civ Fanatic forum, so the comments are still there. If you disagree with them, go talk to them, I guess. Go necro those threads. But these are comments that were posted, the dates are attached to them, and I just want to read to you what I've been reading because this is what I'm exposed to. So when I see the new comments, it's very hard for me to see them as all that different. And before you start to talk to me about these things, I want to expose you to what I have been exposed to. So, going all the way back to Civilization 3's release and how Civilization 3 compared to Civilization 2 in the early 2000s. Now, it's hard to find comments from the 90s exactly because Civ Fanatics was formed in 2000, so we're gonna start here. And beginning with this comment, Civ 3 is to the Civilization saga what Jar Jar Binks is to Star Wars. It is the mutated, deformed hellspawn of a proud family of games. Sid Meier's should chain up in his basement and never let it see the light of day again. I'm sure people wouldn't be so bitter had it not been such a highly anticipated chapter in the Civilization series. Civilization 1, 2, and 3 are supposed to be strategy-based war games. Build your Civ, take over the world, or go to space. Tell me exactly how animated units contribute to your strategy? Tell me how eliminating caravans contributes to strategy. Civ 2 improved on the Pong appearance of Civ 1. Civ 3 turned it into another game, like Pharaoh. Civ 3 is not real civing. You can't even play against another human. A multiplayer patch will have to be major to make this game playable. Yes, I have Civ 3, and I uninstalled it. It is a waste of time and money. Firaxis didn't listen to our requests. They made another game and put Civilization 3 on the box. Civ 2 is better. I'm sorry, but Civ 3 doesn't have the magic. Yeah, the AI is good, but to tell the truth, it takes far too long to do anything. I've had it since it came out and haven't finished it once. Sid Meier has disillusioned me. I'm new to Civ 3. Have been playing Civ 1 and Civ 2 since 1995, so I understand them better. I agree, Civ 2 is much better, but why? The corruption in Civ 3 destroys the game. With over a dozen cities in Civ 3, the outlying cities are producing one production and one science. Whatever I road or mine, the extra goes to corruption. I don't get it. Why would anyone like that? And the main cities, only 5 squares from my capital have significant corruption as well, unlike any prior Civ. I know, I'm supposed to build the Forbidden Palace, but where? I only get one, and it will take forever to build at the rate of 1 or 2 production. It's all stupid, if you ask me. Civ 3 is the most giant pile of crap on Earth. Even CTP was less stunningly bad. Anybody notice how the world just got smaller? Ridiculously smaller. What happened to transform terrain? Did MP buy the patents or something? What about pollution and corruption? I mean, how much can a koala bear? Civ 3 is a completely new game with very little in common with its predecessors. Civ 2 was and is a classic game that had legs for 5 years, and that people were still playing when Civ 3 came out. Within a month after Civ 3 came out, people were posting about when Civ 4 would appear. So much for legs. Civ 3 does not play as well. It is not as much fun. It is not as interesting. It is a big disappointment considering how good it could have been. Has a pathetic mod, lots of bugs, horrible patches, etc. The lack of cheat mode and scenario building also make it a failure. By the way, the fact that Civ 2, a game 5 years older than Civ 3, can still get 31% of the vote in this poll proves to me what a flop Civ 3 is. And now onto Civ 4 for when Civ 4 released. You're not alone, man. I bought Civ 4, played it, hated it, but kept giving it chances, which it never took. I finally went back to C3C and am now incredibly pissed by the fact I wasted $50. Well guys, reading through many posts, some guy might think that many of you are total only Civ fanatics. Open your eyes and compare to all the possibilities of what's making Call to Power 2 a great complex game, with and without mods. So this guy, just for context, is comparing Call to Power 2 to Civ 4. Where the bleep is unconventional warfare. Civ 4 doesn't have many units. Where are the non-atomic nuclear chemical cruise missiles? No modern submarines, no way to make a voting to prevent ICBMs from getting prohibited, and so on and so on and so on. Civ 4 would be great if Sid Meier wouldn't ignore the concepts of games like Call to Power 1 and 2, Alpha Centauri 2, and other ones. This game is kept too thin. It's just for guys who want to play a quick, easy, and simple game. The fanatics' reaction regarding Call to Power 2 is because there's only one original, and something not designed by Sid Meier is just crap. I'm wondering why nobody mentions the great possibilities in Call to Power 2, always these chattings about bugs and stuff. The list I've created are true missing stuffs, and it indicates that Civ 4 is more of an uncompleted, thin-kept game. I have Civ 3 and Civ 4, but Civ 4 just seems very shallow compared to Civ 3 Gold. Quoting a comment about the poll, my point is that there are a lot of disappointed Civers, far more than the 15%. As there were many disappointed with Civ 3, a series like Civilization by necessity has to buck a good deal of continuity with each new installment to remain fresh and appealing as a series because the overall story of the game and aim of it remain the same. And that naturally results in a lot of angry faces for Firaxis. No, you're wrong. Civ 3's exceeding popularity is unprecedented. This relates directly to Civ 4's unprecedented suckiness. Please don't turn the fact into a debate. There's nothing to argue. The facts speak for themselves. Civ 2 never endured the quality of Civ 3's craftsmanship. Look at the boards. They tell the story. I think people will come back to Civ 4 once the extensive mods that are possible with the new structure begin to come out. There will be plenty of new and fresh games to try out and experiment with. The modding community will have a field day once they figure out how to use the tools, so I'm not too worried about those who wander off. Many of them will return when the excitement over new variations begins to get the forums all agitated again. And now we're going on into Civ 5 comments from when Civ 5 released. I would give away my copies, bought 2 so the wife and I could play multiplayer, to someone if Steam would let me. If anyone knows how, let me know and I will transfer them to you. I'm sorry I wasted almost $100 on this piece of crap. I'm serious. Tell me how to do it and they are yours. We've gone back to Civ 4 BTS, by the way. It's kind of like playing Civ 6 because we haven't played in so long, and Civ 5 sucks so bad. Or if I could get a refund on this garbage, even better. Then I will reclassify the game as really bad instead of crap. Civ 5 sucks so bad it kept me from sleeping. I was so pissed off. Like most Civ fans, I bought it on day 1 without thinking. When I say without thinking, I mean without recalling what Civ 3 and 4 were like when they were first released. I have introduced and met many Civ lovers, and most of them at least didn't like Civ 3 or 4, and while I still managed to enjoy each and every Civ release, I could see their points. I bought and played Civ 4, but didn't get into it the same way until the end of the line when BTS was released, and the last patches had been put out. When BTS was first released, I had given up on Civ 4. It just wasn't the game it was supposed to be. When I finally did try BTS, I was like, oh, they fixed most of the crap. It was much like the good old Civ days. I've been playing it since and have gotten some Civ 3 and 4 haters to try it out, and they're back on board as well. Unfortunately, it looks like this will be the same route Civ 5 will take. I was even a little surprised to find posters here already had a similar opinion. My first glance at the Civ 5 forums shows me posts like, disappointed with Firaxis. I agreed. Honestly, all these years of work and this is what they come up with? The hex tiles are nice, and maybe a few changes to the battle system are interesting, but what do we really have here? This is basically Civ 4 with some stuff taken out, which is terrible since I thought Civ 4 was a game made for 12-year-olds. Basically, all the maintenance system has been boiled down to happiness. Somehow they even managed to make it more repressive than the maintenance system in Civ 4. I just love how my size 1 cities are angry on king level with 3 cities total. Yes, 3 cities total, and my cities are unhappy the minute I build it. Even Civ 4 had less of a repressive system than this. And this one does go on for a little bit, but to sum up. Honestly, I can't think of a reason to play this game at this point. They took everything bad about Civ 4 and took it up a notch. The game is designed for people that only want to build like maybe 5 cities at most. In fact, the game forces you to do that. What well-designed game can you think of that pretty much forces players to play a certain way and puts so many constraints on what can be done? God, I knew not to get my hopes up, but I really thought it would be at least better than this. I downloaded Civ 5, and after playing a few games on it, I even refused to play it any longer. First off, what did they do to civics is total blank. Not only is it making the series more unrealistic, which irks me to no end, but it is eliminating a vital strategic component of the game. You know, I could have accepted the elimination of religions as well as the elimination of spies or the elimination of spending and finance options. However, when you take away my ability to institute and then change the various civics that have stood as the way of doing things since at least Civ 2, never played Civ 1, this crosses the line. This is not the game that I love, and I will not play it. Civ 4 Vanilla kicks Civ 5 butt all the way to Bombay. In my honest opinion, of course. And now we're getting into the Civ 6 release era, so some of you might remember these. I went back to Civ 5 months ago. I don't think I'll be playing Civ 6 again. I think it's a terrible game, to be honest. I've tried playing again here and there, but it's just too boring. There are too many pitiful little decisions to make in the game, and what should be a couple of empty turns prepping for something to actually happen instead becomes 20 minutes of pure tedium. And higher difficulties don't change this. They don't feel so much like a challenge as beating my head against the wall. And the lore aspect of this game is a disaster. The characters simultaneously lack personality due to Firaxis' overall skimping on voice-acted lines and backgrounds, and come off as unfunny morons due to that art choice and the desire for dad joke-style big personalities. I don't see Elizabeth in this game and think, it's that jerk. I see Victoria and think, God, now I have to listen to Scarborough Fair for the rest of the game. It also doesn't help that interacting with the AI on the trading and diplomacy screen is an abysmal chore. There are inherent flaws in this game that really drive away the fun. There's good in Civ 6, certainly, but I'm left wondering if the fundamental decisions made about the game essentially mean that, even with future expansions, this game may just never be attractive to a player like me. It's really too bad. I'm not a huge fan of 6, I really liked 5. I understand they have to change things up from version to version, but I think they changed too much. Much of what they changed addressed things that weren't broken, in my opinion. I want to sit back and enjoy, not struggle figuring out how all the new stuff works. I get that I'll eventually figure it all out. Still on Civ 6, this will be the first Civ, maybe Civ 5 was like that, I don't know, I never really played it, that really sucks out of the box. Let's face it, it needs some heavy mods and a major expansion pack to salvage any dignity for this franchise. How can they make a game with an AI that can't seem to take a city if their lives depended on it? There is no strategy here, just a bunch of flopping around. Very disappointed that I spent money upgrading my computer for this game. I'm hoping the mods can save it though. And now we're pretty much to modern day today, and you can see, for a more positive note, just taking some posts from the Steam forums and YouTube, you can start to see posts like this. Is it just me, or Civ 7 makes me realize that we were all too harsh on Civ 6's changes? They ruined Civ. I'll go back to playing 6. This is dumbed down rubbish. And of course, it's garbage. I wanted it to be good, but the way this game plays is terrible. Bad design choices all around. Stick with Civ 6. And there is a short, brief, cursory glance at the history of Civilization comments. What people have been saying for all time. Well, at least the last 20 plus years. Now, what does all of this mean? Probably nothing, maybe something. What does it mean to you? Only you can decide. You have to understand the context of your own experiences. But keep in mind, when I'm seeing these negative comments, I have in my mind these other comments from the last 20 plus years. So of course, things seem same as always. This is not a promise that Civ 7 will become good. It might still suck, but it is not a guarantee that Civ 7 will suck forever either. It's that the comments being made sound exactly the same. And this is going to be how it sounds to Firaxis and 2K as well. It's like, oh, someone said Civ 7 sucks. Well, they said the exact same thing about Civ 6, Civ 5, Civ 4, and Civ 3. Even if it's true, at this point, you're crying wolf. What they have learned is that all of these comments don't matter, because at the end of the day, people buy it anyway, and it becomes the most popular 4X game in the world. So, you can come to your own conclusions, but I wanted to show that these comments are what I'm constantly being exposed to, so when I see the new comments, it's hard to separate from what already was. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting and or useful. You can see the other videos on this channel. I try to keep objective and a level head, but your opinion ends up your opinion. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.